I've spent months creating content about INFJs, but today I'm stepping out of the INFJ lane because there's a question I've seen over and over again, and it's too important and too misunderstood to ignore. The question is simple, but the truth behind it is not. Are INTJs actually autistic? Are they related? Are they the same? Or are we confusing two completely different things because the world has never really understood either one? This isn't gossip. This isn't a trend. This isn't clickbait. This is a genuine moment where two topics collide: personality and neurodiversity. And today I'm giving this topic the one thing it deserves: clarity. Not stereotypes, not assumptions, not labels thrown around casually, just clarity. So let me make something very clear from the beginning. I'm not here to diagnose anyone. Autism is a neurodevelopmental condition. INTJ is a personality preference pattern. They are not the same thing, but the overlap, the confusion, the eerie similarities, that's where things get interesting. And that's exactly what we're going to explore with honesty, nuance, and respect. Let's start with why people confuse INTJs with autistic individuals in the first place. Because once you hear the patterns, you'll understand why the internet has blended these two identities into one giant question mark. Picture an INTJ, private, analytical, strategic, emotionally controlled, unbothered by social expectations, unimpressed by small talk, and naturally more comfortable in their own mind than in social chaos. Now picture an autistic adult, direct, literal, pattern-oriented, deeply focused, sensitive to sensory overwhelm, and exhausted by social norms that feel unclear or unnecessary. At first glance, these two profiles look like twins. But the first thing we need to understand is this: similarities don't equal sameness. Parallels don't equal identity, and overlap doesn't equal diagnosis. Let's break it down. One of the biggest reasons these two get confused is social behavior. INTJs often appear socially detached, uninterested, or selective about who they spend time with. But their detachment is strategic. It's based on value, efficiency, purpose. They're not avoiding connection. They're avoiding meaningless connection. For autistic individuals, social behavior can look similar on the outside, but it's driven by something different. It's neurological. Social cues might be confusing, inconsistent, or overwhelming. Interpreting tone, facial expressions, or hidden social rules requires conscious effort. It's not about avoiding people. It's about navigating an environment that demands constant decoding. The similarity in behavior creates confusion. The reason behind the behavior creates clarity. Let's look at emotional expression next. INTJs are private, controlled, guarded. Some might say emotionally stoic. But their emotional privacy is intentional. They choose what to reveal, when to reveal it, and to whom. Autistic emotional expression can also appear subdued, not because of privacy, but because of processing. Emotions may register differently, feel overwhelming, or take time to interpret. Alexithymia, difficulty identifying and describing emotions, appears more frequently in autistic individuals. Again, similar surface, different roots. Now let's talk patterns. If there's one thing that both INTJs and autistic individuals have in common, it's this: a mind that sees structure, patterns, and systems faster and deeper than the average person. But even here, their reasons differ. INTJs use pattern recognition through introverted intuition, NI, which compresses information, connects dots, and predicts outcomes. They often just know things before they can explain how. It's intuitive pattern synthesis. Autistic pattern recognition tends to be more explicit, detail-oriented, and concrete. It's rooted in systematic thinking, high perceptual accuracy, and precise categorization. It's analytical pattern precision. Both are brilliant, both are powerful, both can look identical, but they aren't created by the same cognitive engine. Let's go deeper into the neuroscience. When you look at an INTJ, you're seeing a personality shaped by cognitive preferences: NI, TE, FI, and SE. These functions create a world driven by prediction, structure, internal logic, and minimal social chaos. Their brain filters information through intuition first, logic second, and external data third. It's a chessboard. Strategic, anticipatory, controlled. The autistic brain, on the other hand, often shows increased activity in sensory processing regions, detail-oriented visual areas, and systemizing pathways. Research shows autistic individuals process sensory and emotional information differently, not less, not more, just differently. It's not about personality preference, it's about neurological wiring. Even when both groups look analytical, quiet, isolated, or intensely focused, the cognitive reasons behind those traits are not identical. It's like two people walking the same path, but one is following a map, and the other is navigating terrain their brain feels deeply, automatically, and continuously. Now let's talk about masking, one of the most misunderstood topics in this entire conversation. If you've ever seen the phrase INTJs mask too, let me tell you the truth, INTJs use social strategies. Autistic individuals use survival strategies. INTJ masking is often about efficiency. Let me play by the social rules long enough to get this done. Autistic masking is about safety. If I don't camouflage, people may reject me, misunderstand me, or overwhelm me. One is selective, one is constant, one is strategic, one is exhausting. And if you've ever spoken to an autistic adult, you'll hear the difference immediately. One is a choice, the other is a shield. This brings us to the most important distinction in this entire video, the heart of why this topic is so confusing. People online have blended INTJ identity with autistic traits because both groups experience the world differently, but different doesn't always mean the same. For some INTJs, the world feels illogical, inefficient, or socially draining. For autistic individuals, the world feels unpredictable, overstimulating, and socially unclear. These are not the same experiences. They simply overlap in how they look from the outside. And here's the truth. You can be INTJ, you can be autistic, you can be both, and you can be neither. But none of these identities diminish your intelligence, your uniqueness, your brilliance, or your worth. Now let's talk about why so many INTJs think they might be autistic, or why so many autistic individuals think they might be INTJ. This is where we finally get to the answer people have been searching for. The overlap exists because both groups share three major traits: a heightened internal world, a preference for structure or predictability, and a deep discomfort with superficial social interaction. When you combine those three things, you get a flavor of existence that looks similar, but feels different from the inside. INTJs feel like strategists navigating a predictable game. Autistic individuals feel like sensitive systems navigating unpredictable noise. Both feel like outsiders. Both feel misunderstood. Both feel different from the norm. And that's where the confusion begins, not in the traits, in the experience of being unlike the majority. So here's the truth people have been trying to simplify for years. INTJ is a personality pathway. Autism is a neurological wiring. They intersect in some behaviors, but they do not define each other. The roots are different, the reasons are different, the motivations are different. But the world often treats them the same because both fall outside of what society considers standard. If you're an INTJ, you're not automatically autistic. And if you're autistic, you're not automatically INTJ. But you might resonate with both communities because both represent minds that think deeply, feel differently, and walk through the world with a kind of internal independence that most people never understand. So let me end with this. If you've ever felt misunderstood, misdiagnosed, mislabeled, or misplaced between these two identities, let me reassure you, there is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken, you are not confusing, you are not almost something. You are simply wired differently, beautifully differently. INTJs aren't autistic clones. Autistic individuals aren't INTJs in disguise. These are two brilliant minds that happen to share a shape, but not the same blueprint. And the fact that both exist is proof that human intelligence, human sensitivity, and human cognition are far more diverse and extraordinary than any label can fully capture. You are not strange for asking these questions. You are self-aware. You are curious. You are courageous. And if the world still doesn't fully understand you, that's because you're operating on a level that requires a little more depth, a little more nuance, and a little more honesty than most people are used to. Thank you for listening. Thank you for thinking. And thank you for exploring this with me. If this brought you clarity, drop a comment and let me know your perspective. And if you're ready to dive deeper into the psychology of rare minds, complex personalities, and deeply wired human behavior, there's a lot more coming.